welcome to the show. My name is T, and we are talking scary movies. I appreciate you tuning in for another brand new review. Remember, every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, I'm going to have a new interview for you, an opinion piece, or some horror news for you. But throughout the entire week, I'm always dropping plenty of reviews on my channel to include movies, TV show, games, books, whatever I'm checking out in the world of horror. And if you don't want to miss any of that, you got to get subscribed to my link tree. And you can do that by going to linktr.ee/T Scary Movie. If you get subscribed to my link tree, that's going to give you access to the YouTube page for the video versions of the show, to your favorite podcasting platforms, the audio only versions of the show, to my Letterboxd page for written reviews and movie rankings throughout the year, to my TikTok page for my short horror content, including movie news and movie premieres, to my Twitch page for my horror gaming, including this month, The Thing for PlayStation 2, and to my Fangoria shop page where you can enjoy my 20% off discount, anything in the Fangoria shop, including a yearly subscription to the physical magazine. Hit that subscribe button, folks. Take advantage of everything I got there, as the more followers that I have, the more content I can put out for you, especially on YouTube. Hit subscribe. So what are we talking about here tonight, y'all? We took a little detour a couple days ago by covering M. Night Shyamalan's new film Trap, which is in theaters right now. You can go check it out for yourself. Make sure to comment on that video for a chance to enter this month's giveaway. And we're in the midst of some full moon terror. I just dropped reviews for The Beast Within and Dog Soldiers, so it's time to wrap things up here with a nice, neat little bow. Tonight, folks, we are going to be talking The Howling. That's right, the classic 1981 werewolf film starring Dee Wallace. That's what we are talking about here tonight, folks. So hit that subscribe button so you can go back and check out all the other previous werewolf films that I've been talking about. And we got other great stuff coming up for you too, including All My Friends Are Dead, Humane, Cuckoo, and we are jumping into the Alien franchise, folks. So some great stuff on the way for all of you. But let's not waste any time. Let's just jump right on into things. If you haven't seen the trailer for The Howling before, this tells the story of Los Angeles news anchor Karen White, who after a close encounter with a serial killer, takes her doctor's orders to take some time off and go and visit a resort called The Colony. But unfortunately, as Karen and her husband Bill arrive, they find out that The Colony is actually besieged by werewolves. And that's The Howling, folks. Now, we've talked about a number of different werewolf movies, and one of the things that we've talked about here with that is that sometimes what makes werewolf movies better than a lot of the other creature features that are out there is they work for great analogies about issues that people are dealing with in their everyday life. Whether it's repressed feelings, whether it's being like a second person who's completely different from who you really are, whatever the case is, some of the best werewolf movies out there take lycanthropy and use it to kind of tell a tale about our everyday lives. And the films I just got done doing, The Beast Within and Dog Soldiers, those are two films that couldn't be more fundamentally different in how they spin that werewolf tale, as one of those uses it as a way to talk about domestic abuse, while another one is really just your straight up werewolf movie. And the thing is that with those ones that don't really try to tell a different story, they're not trying to like have a lot hiding under the surface, those work really well as well. But the thing is that we don't get a lot of films like that. And The Howling actually kind of finds itself sandwiched between those two concepts, interestingly enough. And the reason why that stands out is because The Howling, if you've never heard of this before, this is considered to be one of the classics. When you talk about werewolf movies, The Howling should always be in that conversation. It's one that I remember seeing bits and pieces of as a kid, but I had more like familiarity like with the sequels for a number of different reasons, obviously. But I was way more familiar with the sequels than I was with the original film. And I don't know, about a decade or so ago, whenever Scream Factory did their release of The Howling, that's really when I got a chance to revisit it and get to know it a bit better than what it was. Now, the movie does take a lot of the classic werewolf tropes that we know in terms of mythology, like with Silver and transformation. The makeup work in The Howling is incredible, y'all. Some of the best transformation scenes you will ever see in werewolf movies is done in this one. And the the fact that they do such a good job of giving all the werewolves like their own individual personalities as well too. Like, yeah, when they're all turned and they're attacking and they're doing their thing, like there's not that much of a difference from them then, but like in the earlier on stages, like when they first turn and they're going after their victims, like it's kind of interesting to see them still maintaining not appearance wise the characteristics that they had, but just like their actions and the way that they kind of interact with things. I thought that was a really cool way to go about the werewolves in this film. Now, under the surface, like some of the deeper things that this movie talks about is the gaslighting, which is kind of crazy for a film that's set in the early 80s to really take such a big stance on something that's very modernized. You know, the whole idea of you're not believing what you're seeing. You're crazy. What you're thinking, there's no way that could possibly be true at all. And our lead character, our protagonist, Karen, is gaslit from everybody around her, whether it's her doctor, whether it's her husband, whether it's her bosses at the news station. The movie consistently puts Karen in these situations where everybody is just feeding her bullshit, basically. And honestly, it's so interesting to see how these relationships continue to devolve and devolve and devolve, because I feel as more and more Karen gets this abuse from all these sources, she starts to realize more of the truth, which honestly a lot of the time is the way that gaslighting works. That only works for so long until that person really gets the better senses of them and realizes what's happening and can look around and actually believe what they're seeing through their own eyes. And with the colony, you know, there's the werewolves that are there very much aren't necessarily trying to kill anybody off. Like, that's one of the more interesting things about this. The serial killer that Karen deals with at the beginning of this movie plays a role in much more of this film, but he's kind of like the oddity compared to everybody else, because it becomes very apparent that the rest of these werewolves are focused on, I don't know if you really want to call it repopulation, but they're basically trying to bring more to their numbers. And it kind of seems like anybody they went after in this film, they wanted to also turn into a werewolf. Now, the flip of that, again, is going to be our serial killer, Eddie Quist, who Karen tangles with at the beginning of the film, because Eddie's just a serial killer who also happens to be a werewolf as well. And because of that, he's kind of the one that doesn't have the same intentions as the rest of the werewolves that are around him that are trying to turn people. And even though there's a bit of a civil war that's going on, it still doesn't change the fact that the majority of these people are trying to recruit, while this one guy's just trying to kill, honestly. And I love the clashing of ideas here with that. The movie feels very much like Cursed for whatever reason, and the Wes Craven werewolf movie that, you know, completely reshot, recut, and just a completely different film than what was intended. But I guess there's a lot of traits in the Howling that made its way over there. You know, brother and sister werewolves, like that was very interesting to me in the Curse, and the fact that it's here in the Howling as well. I love that idea, honestly. The bit of a, not a love triangle, but the situation that Bill ends up in, to where like right when he gets there, one of the colony is already trying to seduce him and get him for herself, and Bill's actually a fairly decent husband earlier on and like rebuffs all of that, only to eventually fall prey to it. But that kind of dives into dealing with issues like PTSD and how that can affect your own relationships, honestly. You know, I'll say that if I've said this lands in the middle of being like a film that uses the werewolf analogy to tell a story, and then just a movie to where you're watching werewolves like go and tear people apart, like, and it finds itself smack dab in the middle. But it definitely, in my opinion, inkles more towards it's just like supposed to be this fun movie. I know The Howling is based off a book. I've never read the book before. I'm adding it to my list. My hope is I can get to it before the end of the year and really see what the differences are between the two. But honestly, like, a lot of this movie really was leading leading up to the various transformation sequences and some of the really cool chase sequences that are in it too. And honestly, the fact that we spend most of this movie with, you know, Karen unable to really do anything against these like werewolves, that when her friend shows up with, I think his name is Chris, shows up with like literally a rifle and silver bullets, that the film just jumps into hokey, fun cheese territory, honestly. Like it's honestly so much fun. The last like 20 minutes of this film, watching Chris show up and taking various werewolves out with silver bullets. I really enjoyed that a lot. And if anything, I do know that the ending of this film talks a lot just about how we take the media in today. That the fact is, you can see something, you can absolutely see something with your own eyes, and you still won't believe it due to the platform and the way that it's presented to you. Because the entire film, again, is this one character being gaslit from multiple sources. So how does the film end with that character trying to like share her truth with the entire, like with the United States? And of course, nobody takes it seriously at all. Great werewolf movie, honestly. Great effects, great gore in it, a few scares here and there. I think honestly the design of the werewolves is tremendous. And again, I'll watch Dee Wallace in anything, honestly. She's amazing, and that's horror mom right there, y'all. Y'all know how that works out. So I want to know in the comment section your thoughts on The Howling. Are you a big fan of the original, or do you err more towards the sequels? Let me know for a chance to win A is for Alien. That is our August giveaway at the end of the month. I'm going to take everybody that commented on an August video, put you in a name generator, and we're going to find out who's won a copy here of A is for Alien. So let me know that in the comment section. Folks, I appreciate you tuning in. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. I got more reviews coming your way, but that's it tonight. My name is T. We've been talking scary movies. Stay scared.
Boy here is a big fan of Fangoria. So, if you want to check out the world's best horror magazine that's out there, get a chance to get yourself your own subscription, which I just got my first one back in 2022, and I don't regret it for a second. But if you want your own Fangoria subscription, or you like the Fangoria merchandise, then head over to the Fangoria shop and use my link if you want to save yourself some money, folks. That's an easy one to remember. Just go to shop.fangoria.com/AXDEW. Again, that's shop.fangoria.com/AXDEW, or use my specific code AXDEW at checkout. You can save 20% off your entire order, and that implies 2 subscription and one-time orders as well. You don't want to miss out, folks, because with the magnitude of horror movies we've had released in the last few years, and with what we have on the horizon, Fangoria is going to be your #1 source for all that great, juicy, bloody information in the world of horror. So again, head to shop.fangoria.com. Hey there, folks! Thanks for tuning in to T Watch This Scary Movie. I appreciate you checking out another review or movie news, whether we're talking movies, TV shows, books, or games, whatever, it's all scary. Remember, you can check out new episodes every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on the YouTube page for video. That's youtube.com/C/Theron Reynolds Scary Movie. Again, youtube.com/C/Theron Reynolds Scary Movie. And you can check out the audio version on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Just search T Watch the Scary Movie or TWASM. Don't forget, my name is T. We've been talking scary movies. Stay scared.